Well, here we are once again, Dungeon Creation Live with the DMG on the 70 System channel. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully all the audio is coming through fine and we're coming through at a higher resolution than we were last time. Of course, if there are any issues, please put them in the comment section. You will see them on the chat window over there. Okay, so now just a few keeping track of stuff. Basically, the way that this works, if you haven't seen it before, is I start to create a dungeon of some sorts, and you in the comment section help me coming up with ideas and making changes and things as we go along. So I will periodically be checking on my checker machinery here to see what is actually happening in the comment section. So if you're joining us, please type in the comment section so we know who you are, where you're from, etc., and as many ideas as you like, dump them in there. Now there is a slight delay, so it's probably around 30 seconds, so when you do start seeing this, your message is about 30 seconds delayed. So, once again, thank you for joining us. These videos are made possible by the people who support me on Patreon. That's patreon.com/70system, and also who purchase through the store on the DMGinfo the DMG.info/store. So, in this video, Shane from Niagara Falls. How are you, buddy? First in, best dressed. And we're in from the UK. It's Andy. Nice to see you. So I need ideas. One of the things I was thinking of doing is being slightly different, and maybe this time we'll do a town, just a very small section of a town or a city. So it's a dungeon above ground, effectively. So tell me what you think of that idea. Pop it in the comment section, and I'll just start to prepare all my stuff here while I wait. Of course, if you are interested, I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, /70system. We can check out other crazy things I'm up to. Let's see. So if your video is frozen, refresh. Just Shane, if you can confirm if the video is working. I'm typing out this command. Refresh with F5. A lot of times with live streaming, sometimes during the stream, there's a little bit of lag and things like that. But then once it's encoded by YouTube, it does improve. So hopefully that will be the case. All right. So it seems to be all sorted. Okay. So besides all the live glitches, have we got any ideas yet? Do people want to do a town, or do you want to do a dungeon? Town or dungeon? Quick, quick, quick. First in, best dressed. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Don't worry, it's orange juice, not vodka and orange juice. Okay. All right. In a decision yet, obviously there is a delay, so I do give people time. But I think we're going to go with town. Okay. So we need to know which part of the town we're going to be in. So give me some ideas in terms of suburbs, and I'm just going to start on a little bit of a map so that we can get the ball rolling. Flip a coin. I can't flip a coin. That's what the chat window is for. But I've chosen town now. There's no backsies. You can't go back now. All right. So there's going to be some sort of, hopefully we can see this, yes. There's going to be some sort of entryway. So let's assume that this is going to be sort of like an alleyway that may have some kind of gate or something. And we're going to proceed from there. So being a town, obviously we're going to it's going to be slightly different to a dungeon in that obviously people can kind of come and go through this area as they please, and it will be important just to keep note of that, and obviously time of day will be important as well. So I'm just going to do a bit of an archway here for the entrance to this area. For now, we'll just think of this as an alleyway. I still don't have any suggestions as to what part of the city or town this will be in. So consider that, please, and put it into the chat window. So, in a dungeon, you would have corridors and rooms. In a town, you would have streets and buildings. So, we need to recognize this fact that, you know, they're basically identical in terms of structure. One is above ground, one is below ground, but the difference lies in access. So with a town or a village or whatever you're doing, access is the thing that's the most important thing to consider, because other people and things can be walking in and out of here. So there'll be a lot of passing traffic as such. So I think what we need to be thinking about is what kind of passing traffic are we going to have, and what, because of the type of area of the town. So we haven't had a suggestion yet as to what sort of area it should be. So I'm going to make this the shades. Shades, which is standard trope. All right, so we've got our entrance alleyway here, and in true alleyway style, there should be a lot of junk and garbage cluttering up the alleyway as we continue through here. But we need some kind of initial problem for the adventurers to solve. So I'm thinking that at the end of the alleyway here are two ruffians. So give me some names for some ruffians in the chat window. Don't be shy. So these blokes will be typical thugs, and there'll have to be some role playing for the adventurers to get past these two individuals. So drawing the alleyway here. Some walls. Okay, so let's make these guys some of the members of, maybe not the Thieves Guild, something more interesting, I think. Like, you wouldn't really have a Brigands Guild, but you would have like a um, a, um, uh, a gang as such. So, all right, so we've got Flora and Oscar. Yes, so we do have, we've also got a market stall area and a tavern. So I'll write these down. So market stall, tavern, and this is Flora and Oscar. So Flora and Oscar here are basically in the gang that controls this area of the Shades. So we need a gang name. What kind of gang name would suit a fantasy setting? Now we've got a market stall and a tavern. So being a shady area, this would have to be some sort of fence, I think. So I'll just have an opening here. We'll have a doorway into the local tavern. So this is the market stall here. This is the tavern. This is market stall, tavern. Tavern will have a bar there, stairs going up, and a few tables. Okay, so back to Flora and Oscar. So Flora and Oscar are going to try to impede the progress of the adventurers, and we must assume that there's been some sort of hook that has brought the adventurers here. So the adventurers will be looking for someone, I think, and we've had a suggestion of Spud and Boris for the names. So I'm going to use Spud, only because it's a well-known book in South Africa. So we're looking for Spud. Where is Spud? And you are attempting to help Spud's family locate him because he was abducted by this gang. So we've got Flora over here and Oscar over here. So here the gang members would basically want to know why the adventurers are here, what is their business, etc. And this will require some role playing to get past these two. So basically a simple task, nothing super taxing, but at least starts to use some of the skills of the character. So here we have an interesting market stall, and I think what we need to do is the big fellow who runs this market stall is also one of the heads of the gang. So we meet the head of the gang, or one of the heads of the gang, or prominent member of the gang quite early here. Excuse me. So drawing the door here. So send me some suggestions of what sort of style you'd like this to be, if there's a particular movie you're thinking about, or something to that effect. that can help us think about what we want in this town area and what we're going to get up to try and find Spud. If anyone's interested, I'm using a Japanese brush pen. So it's a soft nibbed pen using ink, which is quite nice. I picked them up while I was in Japan, and I regret not buying a lot more of them, but I did buy quite a few. So we need a name for the tavern as well. So get onto that chats window and give me some names. Otherwise, I start naming things, and then you're just watching me make this without any input. You can't have that. Need a big tavern keep here, and serving winch. Okay. So Oscar and Flora have no idea who the hell Spud is. Obviously, the best point of interest would be this gentleman behind the store here. Now, he will have ulterior motives because he most likely will know where Spud is, but he wants to loosen the purse strings of the adventurers. He wants to make sure that he gets a cut of the action. Now, rather than just get some little bit of the coin that the characters have, he's going to attempt to set them up. So he's going to send them on a bit of a goose chase. What sort of goose chase? We don't know at the moment. This is why we have the chat section. Excuse me if I sound a little bit slow. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here, which to me is almost mythological time. It doesn't normally exist. So we still need a name for this tavern. In You Come. That's a great one. Alright, so tavern name is In You Come. We also need a name for the dude who's running the market stall. The Australian. That is funny. I think that's probably a better one. Let's change it. The Australian. Well, the sheep's dip. So hopefully all the audio and everything is still coming through thick and fast. Right, to recap so far, we're in the Shades. Alleyway entering the Shades. We've got Oscar and Flora, two members of a gang we have not yet named. Market stall with a leader of one of the leaders of the gang who's going to set the adventurers on a different path. And we've got a tavern, the Australian, and or the Sheep Dip. You'll have to decide which one you like. So we need to create some kind of complication that can send the adventurers off on their wild goose chase through the Shades. So I'm going to call this gentleman. Okay, so stream is good, excellent. So I'm going to call this gentleman Marcos. It's locked in now. Can't change it. Marcos. And this is his store, which will appropriately be all kinds of stolen items. So all sorts of trinkets that are overly priced. Almost like a CMOT dibbler. Hopefully people will know who that is. Otherwise, you need to read more Discworld. Okay, Poison Posse. Okay, all right. The Poison Posse. So it's sort of on the wall as the characters are entering into this part of the town. They'll see that's painted on the wall is the Poison Posse, and so they'll know that that's this gang's territory. This is the Australian Inn. All right. So we're going to be sending these adventurers off on a jaunt around the shades. So we need a few more places. So obviously, this being the shadier part of town, these would probably be homes and warehousing and all that kind of stuff. But we also need to consider what kind of characters we have walking around in here as random encounters. So I'm just going to start adding a few more streets here. We have some suggestions in the chat window. Weaponsmith, okay, cool. So rather than a weaponsmith, probably a weapons dealer who deals in exotic weapons of assassination. Street vagabonds, yep, so I'll write this down. Street vagabonds. Weapons merchant. Okay, Oliver Twist style, okay, great. So they all know who Marcos is then, if this is an Oliver Twist. It gives you an idea. I forget all the names from Oliver Twist, but the main character duty who runs all the pickpockets, that guy. So what's his name? Okay, so we're going to send the adventurers deeper into this part of the shades, and the shades. So they arrive here, they start to, they get accosted by Oscar and Flora. They pass Marcus's stall, who gives them a little piece of false information, which will send them to this dark area down here. So he'll give them directions as to where to go. Head north, then head east, then head south, then head west. And there you'll find a man named, and what they will really find is another whole bunch of gang members here, who, this is going to be a bit of a battle. So this will have to open up a bit, give us some space. We'll have a warehouse here, I think. And this is where the poison posse do their killing. So keep those suggestions coming in. Don't be afraid. Use that iPad screen. Tap it. Okay, so this is going to be a warehouse of some kind, so we're going to throw in all manner of boxes and crates and barrels and piles of stuff in packages. Package. So I'll just indicate that. So in here we will then have the gang membership. We're going to want to fleece the adventurers of all their equipment, swords and gold and magical items and all that sort of thing. So you'd need to put in an appropriate level of bad guy here to suit. But I think what we also need is something big. They've got chained up. What kind of monster can they have as a pet? This is what I need. I need a pet monster that they've got here that they can unleash. Can be anything. Don't be afraid. Search your feelings for the kind of monster you want. So I have a handful of gang members here. Lying in wait. Obviously, Marcos had signaled to them to get ready because he's sending a few gullible fools. Troll, bugbear, or owlbear. Thank you for joining us, Michael. Seeing as that's Michael's first suggestion, we'll go with Michael's suggestion. But let's twist it in typical DMG style. Let's twist that, and it is a bugbear that has been that has had a enlarge spell cast on it. So it is 3 or 4 times the normal size of a bugbear. So it's a bugbear giant as such. So you basically can reskin a giant with bugbear stats, and let's just put big bugbear here. He's got big puffy arms and crazy hair. And he's chained up to the wall. But on seeing the adventurers, he manages to break free of the chains. So obviously this is a red herring, and once the battle is finished, the adventurers will know that they have been duped by Marcos, and they shall return to him, head of bugbear in hand, and then do their intimidation checks to find out where Spud really is. For those who are just joining us, Spud is the name of the person that they've been sent into this part of town to find. They're helping the kid's family locate him in the shades. He was fallen in with the wrong crowd, up to no good, watched too many DMG videos and fell in a bad way. Okay. So call rent to kill. All right. So to recap, this is the Shades area of a town, so you can just drop it into any one of your towns. It is the domain of the Poison Posse, a gang for which Oscar and Flora are two gang members who patrol the entrance to this area, and there'll need to be some role playing for the adventurers to get past here. And once through, they then see the Marcus's market store, where he is selling a collection of stolen goods, and he is also a leader in the Poison Posse. He's not the leader, he is a leader. And this is the Australia Inn. We haven't included this yet, but Marcos sends the adventurers on a wild goose chase north, east, south, west, where they find the entrance to this warehouse. Going inside, they find the Poison Posse gang members with a tied up giant bugbear that was enlarged with an enlarged spell, who's very angry, and he breaks free, and there's a big kerfuffle. So, realizing that they've been duped, the adventurers, after dispatching of the Poison Posse, return to Marcos to demand the truth. So, Marcos tries to deal his way out, tries to throw some other people under the bus, saying it wasn't him. But he doesn't actually know where Spud is, and suggests that you go and talk to the tavern keep, who knows more about what's happening in the Shades than anyone. So we need a name for the tavern keep. Come on, it's first in, best dressed. Name for the tavern keep. So another interesting character that we said they could meet in here is a weapons merchant who could be standing up against the wall here. And in fact, we can have a little notice board here. On the notice board, it says there's someone, nice one, Michael. There's someone searching for someone to maintain a dungeon, and please see RT in the tavern. Anyone who saw the previous one of these would know what that's about. Okay. So the tavern keep is Barrett with 1 T to differentiate it from myself. And so there will need to be some role playing to find out what has happened to Spud. Okay, so let's blend Nicholas and Barnaby. So we're going to call this weapons merchant Barnaby Nicholas. Now, Barnaby Nicholas's trade in weapons, so he may have some low-level magical items and things like that that clearly have been procured in ways that adventurers don't want to know about, but the weapons are enticing. So you'll have mainly small weapons, I think. Keep it to things like daggers and a garrote and things like that he would have available for sale. And you can also use him as a hook for other adventures, or as a standard NPC who keeps recurring throughout. So the adventuring party can always return, and they know to go and see Barnaby Nicholas. And then wandering the streets will just be some vagabonds and lowlives. Because it is the Shades, after all. Okay, so the adventurers have gone into the Australia Inn and are talking to Barrett, and he doesn't trust them in any way, shape, or form. Their kind aren't welcome here, and in fact, if one of the party is a different race or species, he'll ask them to leave. So this is the warehouse. So once the party has satisfied him that they're only looking for Spud, and for those who are joining us, Spud is the guy that the party have been sent into the Shades to help find. So he says, you've got to go and see. Who does they have to go and see? Someone down this area here. Someone interesting. This is where we need suggestions in the chat window. Someone interesting. Possibly another fight. add more clutter to these streets here. Mysterious hermit mage. What would he be doing in the shades? Hermits tend to live outside of town. Can be a nefarious wizard. So, a scruffy wizard. Okay. All right. So we'll settle on a wizard. What is this wizard up to? It has to be something a bit off kilter. That's why he's doing it in the shades. What is this wizard up to that would require him to do it in an area like this? I'm just adding junk and things in the alleyways here. In case this encounter spills out, you can at least then fight in the streets. There's some other locked doors and things, which if you want, people can go in. There'd be a single room house or something. The thief can do some thieving. So I'm not trying to have too much dead air. I'm just giving time for the chat to catch up because there is a delay, and hence just gives me time to add in all these little bits and pieces. So what do we got? Peddling illicit poison. Okay, that's great. All right, peddling illicit poison. So it would, well, we'd have to probably change, because if he's a mage, he wouldn't really be dealing in poisons. He's recruiting to investigate apprentice disappearance. Or fake potions. Fake potions, okay. Yeah, he could be just using spells to make things look like they're potions, and then be selling them to the highest bidder, which keeps in this whole theme of the Dickensian band of ruffians that we've encountered. So we need a name for this wizard. Please don't call him Wizzy. Okay. Merkel. Alright, that's great. Is it Merkel or Merkai? Merkel. So he'd be a low-level wizard. He's just got into wizarding. He's a wizardary. He's just got into wizarding, and he's using his low-level spells to set up a fake potion racket. So we'll encounter him here in his lab. So this will be Merkel's lab. And there'll just be rows and rows and rows of bottles. A table. And there'll be a doorway into a back room. I haven't decided what the back room is for yet, but just seems with any kind of shady wizard dealings that there should be some kind of back room. Now, Merkel has abducted Spud for some reason. And that reason could very well be that Spud has found him out, knows that he's making fake potions, and Merkel's trying to decide what to do with him. So it's filling in all the glass bottles and things here. So Merkel has been working with the Poison Posse to set up a network to sell all these fake potions to unsuspecting persons in other villages and towns, apothecaries and so on and so forth. Excuse me. All right. So, we now have the villain, but we still don't have Spud. Okay, so I'll go through while in the back room here. Merkel would have been doing some summoning experiments and has locked this door. So this door is locked. And in here, the adventurers hear some kind of commotion. So they suspect Spud is in there. Merkel uses all his low-level spells and freaks out and runs away, or is dispatched by... Well, he wouldn't be dispatched. They need to keep him alive because they need to know where Spud is. But they hear all kinds of scuffling and things happening in here. And Merkel has been experimenting with summoning spells. So he has summoned some kind of monster. We need a monster. It's just early in the morning. So I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go out online. Come on. We need suggestions for these monsters. I know there's a delay, that's why I'm spending some time filling in some of the details of these areas here. So this will be a bedroom. Elemental, a demon, okay. Can we have elemental demons? That would be cool. What sort of elemental? So Andy chose elemental, so Michael gets to choose which elemental it is. Okay, could be giving Spud to the demon to gain knowledge, but we've already ascertained that Spud is not here. Spud is somewhere else. Okay, so Michael's going with a fire elemental, which is cool because we can use that to then start to cause chaos in the shades. Why? Because you've got a fire elemental running around, and you've got all this crap lying around in the alleyways, which, when this fight spills out of Merkel's lab here, all kinds of shenanigans can start to happen. So a fire elemental is a cool idea. So I'm just going to draw Lord Flamey, who's quite angry. So there's a bedroom, so it should have a bed in it. And maybe a table. Okay, so the moment they open this door, fire elemental bursts out. Merkel tries to run away in horror, so now the party have to contend with the fire elemental, keep Merkel alive because they need to know where Spud is, and what? So we need lots of things that can burn here. Lots of crates, planks, other bric-a-brac, not bric-a-brac, mundane items. If you really wanted to, you could run under the tavern, under the Australian here. If you don't know what that is, check out TheDMGinfo, look at the channel page, and look for Delving the Dark. Okay, so once the party have defeated the fire elemental, they manage to negotiate in a fisticuff slap way with Merkel as to find out where Spud is actually located. So he takes them to the other side here, where a thin passageway has been obscured by all the junk in the alleyway. So it's almost like a secret passage. And this will wind its way through the shades. It will eventually lead up a stairwell to a hovel. Being Dickensian, we need to have hovels. Okay, so let's recap from the beginning again. Adventurers enter into the shades as a part of any sort of town or metropolis, big city, where they are looking for Spud. They've agreed to help Spud's parents or family locate Spud, who's been missing for a couple of days. So through their investigations, they discover that the Poison Posse may have him. The Poison Posse are the gang that control the Shades. So they enter in here. They are accosted by Oscar and Flora, two gang members, where they need to use their negotiation skills to get into the Shades. Why are you here? What are you looking for? Or they can dispatch them in whichever way they feel is most appropriate, but they need to get past these two. They then discover Marcos's store, where he's selling illegally procured items, and he is a sub-leader of the Poison Posse, and he sends the adventurers on a wild goose chase. He signals to a few of his buddies that they're coming, so the adventurers are sent north, east, south, west into this warehouse here, where they discover the rest of the Poison Posse gang with a tied up, enlarged bugbear. This bugbear has had an enlarged spell cast on it, so it's 3 or 4 times normal size, so you'd need to reskin a giant. Once the posse has been dispatched, the adventurers come back to Marcos, negotiate with him, and he doesn't actually know where Spud is, so he sends them to Barrett, who's the innkeep of the Australia Inn, who is at first apprehensive to even talk to them, because one of the members of the party, he doesn't like the look of them, so that member of the party will have to be sent out in order to placate him. And he talks about Merkel, the crazy wizard, who, if there's anything dodgy happening, it's probably that guy. So the adventurers head down here to Merkel's lab, where they break in, and Merkel is a low-level wizard who is using his low-level wizard spells to make fake potions that he is selling with the assistance of the Poison Posse to other towns and things like that, purely for profit. In his lab here, he doesn't want to help the adventurers in any way, shape, or form. He'd rather they bugger off. There is a locked door. The adventurers hear a commotion inside. Merkel tells them not to go in there. They open the door. Inside is a very angry fire elemental that had been summoned by Merkel. Merkel wants to escape, but the adventurers need to basically keep him in this area so that he can't get away. And they need to battle the angry fire elemental. This battle can spill out into the streets. Now there's lots of things that can burn in here. If you want, you can start to set things on fire, which will attract other people or the shades, maybe the city guard or something like that, to put the fire out, because in medieval cities and towns, fire is a very big disaster. So that's what needs to happen. So in order to get away from all that commotion, the adventurers negotiate smack, smack, smack with Merkel, who tells them where Spud is. He is in this area here. There's all these bits and pieces that are covering the entrance to this thin passageway through the alleyways. So it's kind of like a secret passage, but it's just got junk piled up in front of it. So it's easy enough to just pull the junk out the way and slip through. And this comes around and up some stairs into this hovel that is on a higher level above some other property. And that's where we're at the moment. Welcome, Craig. Thank you for joining us. So, that's where we're at. So, we're going to find Spud here, and he'll be tied up and unconscious in a corner. Yes, there's no grid. Because then you can make it as long as short as you like. So if you want to be this, say, 50 by 50 foot, that's fine. If you want this to be 1,000 feet long, you can do that. This is just to keep everything compact and together. All right. So in here we'll have a few additional members of the Poison Posse that have been guarding Spud. And I think we'll have them fast asleep. So we'll just do a few Z's here. So at this point, there's a few things you can do. The adventurers can then obviously just get Spud and drag him out, and try not to wake these two. Will make them look quite tough, and they'll have weapons and armor and all that kind of stuff. Or they can just wake him up, surprise him, attack, or Merkel can scream and surprise attack. Either which way, Merkel should get away, and there should be a chase scene. So once Merkel gets away, there's a chase scene either through the shades or out into the actual rest of the town or the city. And the idea is you want to bring him to justice. You wake up Spud, and Spud tells you that there's some critical information that Merkel has, and you need to get him in order to find out what this information is. So that's a MacGuffin to create the chase. You want the party to chase Merkel through the city and eventually capture him and bring him to justice. Again, it's up to you as to what the MacGuffin is, what the information, the papers, the diamond, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just something to give the party the opportunity to chase Merkel through the town and through the city. Alrighty. Let's add some elements here. That's Spud. Thank you, Craig. It's always a pleasure. I enjoy doing this as much as you enjoy watching it. So, the last few minutes of this broadcast. Is there anything anyone would wish to add in terms of, we've even got Barnaby Nicholas here, we've got to do that in the recap. Barnaby Nicholas is an NPC who sells interesting weapons, so small items like daggers and that kind of thing, sometimes magical, sometimes not. How he procures them, you do not know, but he's a good source of interesting weapons, which you can use. You know, characters can return and see him, etc. You can do more with the tavern in terms of you can have under the tavern happening under here. You can add an upstairs. You can add more features to this. So this just gives you the basic structure, and from this you can then tag on. We've got a few doors here. You can add on some other interesting aspects to it and draw this out over a longer period of time if you like. But this just gives you the basic structure of how you would be able to run this sort of thing. And again, it's different to a normal dungeon in that it's above ground. So, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts in the comment section? Well, if you like these videos, click the like button. If you'd like to see future videos, please subscribe to my channel, 7D System, which is youtube.com/7D System. If you're somehow viewing this somewhere else on the internet, you can check me out on Facebook and Twitter /7D System. And if you'd like to support these videos, you can also check out patreon.com/7D System, where at certain reward levels you can actually be in the show feeding information. So, we'll just see if there's any comments in the dying moments. So, Barnaby magical weapons shouldn't be really magical. They just have temporary enchantment that fades over time. So that's cool. It keeps the theme of it. You may even want it's like a one-use flaming dagger or something. So you know it's flaming dagger. Wow, it identifies as such. You use it and then it never works again. Very cool. Yeah, so add all kinds of elements into here. This gives you the basic structure of what you can do. And yes, happy gaming. Enjoy. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me from all over the world. I know there were some people from the UK, the US, and I'm sure there'll be other people watching this when it's not live. So tend to do this in the last week of every month, but I will normally post up when that is when the next one becomes available. All right, Andy, we'll see you, and enjoy. This obviously will be recorded, so you will actually be able to watch it all the way through afterwards. So thank you for joining me, and enjoy.